Mark Morano, author of The Politically Incorrect Guide to Climate Change. Mark, how you doing, buddy?
Very good, Doc. Thanks for having me on today.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, there's some good stuff in here. In fact, Chris and I saw a headline this morning that says Antarctica is melting 3 times as fast as a decade ago.
Yeah, that's one of the climate scams that they do. First of all, you notice they say decade. Antarctica has been going through all sorts of cycles. However, this study used climate models to estimate how much ice there is. And the United Nations even admits models don't even account for half the variability in nature. So they have a huge fudge factor. But more importantly, in the book, I go back to 1901, 1922, in the 1970s and then forward. They've had the same exact scares about Antarctica recycled over and over about how it's going to flood Europe, flood the United States, and they just keep recycling them about what may happen in the future. The reality is a NASA study showed 2 years ago and a new NASA study coming out to reaffirm that as a whole, Antarctica is actually gaining ice. And the irony is they originally said Antarctica was going to lose ice due to global warming. And then when they came out and saw it gaining ice, they said, oh, well, that's actually what's going to happen. Global warming will make Antarctica at least gain the sea ice portion, not the land ice. And now they're saying, well, it's losing ice. But they can't keep their story straight, and it's literally a recycled scare over and over. Bottom line is Antarctica as a whole actually gaining ice, according to NASA, and contributing to a sea level lowering. Sea level has been lowering due to Antarctica's gaining of overall ice.
You hear what's going on here? Do you hear?
Yeah.
Couple of things. We're going to be overrun by ice.
Yep.
Right? We're a second ice age. Is that what you're saying, Mark?
Well, actually, that's a separate story. There's actually solar scientists, and particularly the Russian National Academy of Sciences, yes, Russian collusion, who claim that sunspot activity is now at centuries low, and there's a worry that we are facing at least decades of a cooling due to low sunspot activity. Depends on how long it lasts. But carbon dioxide, by the way, is not the control knob of the climate. That's the message I scream from the book with Nobel Prize-winning scientists, former UN scientists. There are hundreds of factors that influence our climate. We do not control the climate with our SUVs or our coal plants. That is, and believing that the EPA or UN can control the climate or storms is believing in medieval witchcraft. They used to blame witches for bad weather and for crop failure. Now they blame our cars. That's how insane this has become.
Do you notice how many times he is referenced, like back 100 years ago? He's stuck in the past. He denies modern science.
He doesn't know
That's
about the
what's
Jews
going on.
having that weather machine.
That's right, all of that.
Yeah.
That's what we're hearing, Mark.
Well, here's the thing. When you open up the show by saying that decade, what they do, and this is their insidious tactic, they'll say it's worse than we thought, global warming. It's like, how could it be worse? Sea level's not accelerating according to tide gauges. Polar bears are at or near record numbers. Global temperature, the hottest year scam is that the temperature is in a pause or a hiatus. What they'll say is, it's the hottest year on record. Yeah, it's within hundredths of a degree of the last time you declared a hottest year 2 years ago or 5 years ago. And you realize these are well within the margin of error, these claims. And then you go through all the other data, hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, droughts, either on no trend or declining trend. But they say it's worse than we thought. How do they make that claim? Simply because they make predictions of the future much worse than they were 2 or 5 years ago. And they get short time scales. Well, the last 3 years, this has increased X amount. Therefore, in 100 years, we expect X, Y, Z. When current reality fails to alarm, make scarier and scarier predictions of the future.